Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of September 18th, 2018. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Tonight is a workshop meeting. We have appointment of alternates. Tony, if we need to vote, would you mind stepping in to that first? Okay, we're going to have Tony fill in as an alternate this evening. Roll call of members present. Michael Proto, Chair.
Joe Blanchett, Clerk.
Kimberly Queenan, Vice Chair.
Tony Turecki, Alternate.
Okay. Public input on non-agenda items, items not on the agenda this evening. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak? Seeing none and hearing none, I will close public input and we will get down to business this evening. Master plan update. We have with us this evening from the Nashua Regional Planning Commission, Cassie Mullen, who will provide us with a little overview. Welcome, Cassie. Welcome back. I know it's been a while.
Yeah. So I know it's been a while since we've worked on this, but I made the changes that we identified just for language to the different sections, and I did them in track changes, so they're all in red. So that's what we talked about for the little tweaks in terms of that. And then I added a new section on signage that we talked about, and then I think that was the new section that we created, was the one on signage. And the remaining ones that we have left to do is the transportation infrastructure in the conclusion. But other than that, we pretty much populated all of the main categories you guys wanted to look at.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Cassie? Any questions about the chapters?
I had a few comments just because, again, we're trying to get back into the, back into this.
Sure.
And I have to reread my notes here. I said to look at page 4, but I don't know if I think I might have changed my mind. Page 4, under D, commercial development.
Yep.
Second paragraph down, second sentence. So we're in section D. Page 4, section D. Second paragraph down, second sentence. And I don't know if I wanted to change this after I kept reading. It says the area of the Old Stage Road and Charles Bancroft Highway, the town hall is promoting and maintaining the present historic character, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said the fire station in Griffin, but in that little section, there's like 5 that everybody always keeps referring to. And you have them in your pictures here. Right, and there's a few times you have the Riverfront Parkway and you have the celebration, which shows all the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 other buildings in there, and I just want to see if the group wants to add it. It starts with the library, Litchfield Library, but I'll give you the accurate name later, but it's the library.
Okay.
Then it is the Presbyterian Church,
Mhm.
which I'll forward you the 5 names so you have the accurate name, right?
That'd be great.
And then after the church, it's the fire station.
Okay.
Then I guess we call it the Old Town Hall, and then the Griffin Memorial School. So that,
What about the Frank House in between?
well, if they want to have that, I don't know if the owner wants that, but yeah, the old tavern.
At the tavern?
Do we have to check with the person? Because there's also that other residence between the library and the church.
What was it?
So you have like the library, right?
Right.
And then in there, I don't know if the residence is first or whatever, there's an Old Stage Road, right?
Right, and then there's the residence.
Then the residence, there's
Mhm.
a colonial, right?
Okay.
Then you have
Then
the
the
Presbyterian
church.
Church,
Then the fire station.
fire station,
Then
the
the
Old Town
tavern.
Hall, tavern room,
Old
and then
Town Hall
Griffin.
Tavern, right.
So I don't know, but they're going to talk about the
Residence.
corridor because you keep talking about it later on. You have all those in there, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not here.
Okay.
But I'll, before we leave, Cassie, I can give you. And again, if maybe, I don't know if you want that there, but right now they're just saying fire station and Griffin School. And if those are the two endpoints, I think you're missing the church at minimal, but then the 2 buildings or 3 buildings up is where Old Stage Road starts, is the library.
Yeah, I can put
All right,
those in there.
so,
Why not?
all right, so it's gonna be library. Oh, so the question was, do we have to, that home next to the town hall,
You
Do we
can
have
just
to
say- Why couldn't you just say the old tavern,
the old tavern room? Well, all right, so it's a
tavern,
residence
and then
now,
it
the
wouldn't be
farmhouse.
going out the.
All right,
Okay.
all right, so we'll go library, then is it Old Stage Road is right next to it, right? Because you mentioned Old Stage Road in here, right?
Yep.
And then there is a residence, I don't know if we're considering that anything. All right, then it's the Presbyterian Church,
Okay.
and then it's what's after that? The fire station's in the
station.
middle? The old fire station, yeah. At the old town hall. The next, if we keep building, we're gonna have, this will be the, okay, old town hall. And then what's that?
The residents.
Residents, yeah, we can check with, I don't want to say the names online. And then down the street is Griffin, right?
Right.
Griffin School. It's a lot, but that's the picture. You see the picture that we have on page, you have the picture on page 12 and on page 14. You can see to the left, you have the library, Old Stage Road,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you see the church, the fire station. See it in here? Now the River's Edge Park you talk about probably won't go all the way through the school, obviously. You know what I mean? It'll
Yeah,
just be
yeah.
that little view here, probably from the church, but, so you see the buildings here?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, go to, actually, page 14 has the better picture of that. If you go to page 14, you'll see all the buildings. You'll see on the left, it starts at the library and goes all the way to the Griffin School, right in that. Okay. And you did mention the muster grounds as well.
Yep.
So I'm just asking in the group if they think it should be in there, but if not, it just looks like it's just these 2 buildings.
Yeah, sure. I think they're an important part.
Okay, so then what did I say? What was that? You think it's okay?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't have any big objections? The public? No. All right, let's see. Adds, what did I say about adds historic river park? I don't know about that. Page 5, what did I say about page 5? About the fire station. Let me think what I said here. Okay. What did I say? Add fire station here. For example, okay, so page 5, under the top one, it says massing and scale. Again, I don't know what I read this a little bit back. Massing and scale. The second paragraph, along the length of Route 3A.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the 2 sentences from let's see. It starts along, you see how it says it starts along, and the next sentence, use of existing housing and agricultural structures.
Yep.
Go to the next sentence. Historic structures are urged to be preserved and repurposed as community needs change. For example, structures such as the Griffin Memorial School, constructed in 1930s, and the Old Town Hall can be renovated to serve as cultural arts or community center. I didn't know if people wanted to put the fire station in because we don't know what we're doing with it yet. The town hasn't decided, but I think they're using it for storage, right? Was one of the things they're talking about, but
Well, but you say historic structures are urged to be preserved.
well, it's over 50 years old. So it's not historic yet. I don't know. I have to do the math. I would think maybe it is.
It is.
I don't know if you want to put it in there. I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to rip it down. I don't know, but
You can add it
they could
in.
repurpose it. I'm already hearing people coming up with so many other, you heard the crowd on chapter 8 saying repurpose it, right, kind of thing.
So yeah, Old Town Hall could be renovated.
Well, they are using the old town hall now. They do have up on the second floor a
Is it
the
the
display.
display?
Yeah.
Well, that's the Historical Society, isn't
Right,
it? with
that-
it right
yeah.
now.
They rent it for $1 a year or something.
Okay.
So they are using it right now, that old town hall that's repurposed, right? But
Okay.
at the fire station, I don't know if they're going to. Maybe they're going to store the snow plows in it. I have no idea, but something to be repurposed.
Okay, yeah, I'll put in a
Is there any
reference.
other, but the other buildings are being used, right? In that corridor, the library's used, the church is used.
Yep.
But it's up to you guys. I'm just trying to throw it out there for feedback. I would say old fire station at this point. I don't know if you have to say old or new by the time we get this thing voted on. The other one's
Most
going up
definitely
quick. All right, so that was that one. And then, I'll wait till you're, I'm talk faster than people can
You're
write. Page 6, again, it's, everything you said here, I'm not correcting anything, I was just thinking on page 6, when you're talking about the River's Edge Park, at the bottom, it says river
yeah.
access, it says historic River's Edge Park.
Mhm.
Somewhere in there, I don't know if I didn't see it unless someone else did. If you look across the river, Merrimack is putting a River's Edge Park on that exact side right now.
Oh, okay.
I think they're in the infancy stages of it, but it's already started. So what did we say here? The muster grounds you saw, right? Popular suggestion to memorialize River's Edge Park. The reason I'm just saying that is at one point Merrimack and Litchfield were the same town. You know,
Okay.
and they used that river, obviously, back and forth.
Okay.
Look, it says here, lookouts onto the river from the trail could draw more visitors as well, or something we could just say you would see Merrimack's side of it.
Who's doing the same thing?
Merrimack's doing the same thing, right? Okay, literally right across from that. Because we're envisioning this, but they're
Mhm.
actually doing it. That's the point I was trying to
Mhm.
drive home with that.
It's a good example.
Doesn't mean Litchfield's
too.
going to do it, but at least we can see what they're doing. Okay. I don't think this is the chapter to do it. Everything else was, I had to, remember the newcomers won't remember, but 3 of us will, the zoning ordinance about demolition for
Mhm.
the older buildings. Did we put that in other chapters? I thought we kind of did, because we had to tweak other chapters as we were going. I don't know if this is the chapter for it, because we did mention we're trying to preserve the old character. I don't know.
But I don't
Well,
think
the
I'm
demo-
mentioning it.
The demolition ordinance that applied to the historic.
And yeah, that was the zoning, right? That's a zoning ordinance. It's not really a planning board one.
Yeah.
But you are saying here, so, you know, I don't know if we want to, I don't know if this is the place to do it. I don't think it
For
probably is. but-
regulations.
The regulation's actually a zoning ordinance at this point, right? Remember if it was rated
Yeah.
50 years old?
Yeah.
The master plan doesn't really
Okay, that's
enforce
good. I was just
anything.
questioning.
Yeah.
I didn't think it belonged here, but I just wanted to double check.
Yes. This is really more.
It's like your
of a-
visioning
Okay.
document.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regulatory piece.
And that, the rest, I saw the splash pad. I was trying to remember keywords, right?
Yep.
The Christmas lighting, yeah. The sculptures, you did all that? Are you saying section H, we still have to discuss the transportation?
Yeah, that
Okay.
one is still, and it looks like, under gathering places too, we still have to discuss that.
Mhm.
Where there's just bullet points from your future land use section in here as a reference, but we don't have any literature material to put in these ones yet.
One of the people who started this project with us that was in the audience, we had a group come in,
Mhm.
had mentioned if that first bullet was to happen, that the town, Board of Selectmen would not, if it gets more feasibility to maybe blight the land now, that if you were going to connect the road later, it would be ready for the town.
For which one, the southern
Yeah.
connection to, yeah.
I don't think we have to put that there, but that was the, if it was to become to fruition, they'd have to put
You
that
could
in.
even take a whole different route for this one too, if you wanted to do, like complete streets talk, or if you want to talk about like multimodal sidewalks, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
It can really be anything you want. I think we
That's
just
been a
stole this from
discussion in
here.
town, right?
Yeah.
Doing that big, like I need more traffic on the road.
I mean, where you guys already have.
So
that
you're
really
saying this,
nice
we haven't
trail.
really firmed this one up yet? We're gonna.
No, this
okay.
was just
Yep.
excerpts from other chapters that were talking points.
Okay, so, yeah, so that's,
And then same thing with the gathering places one too. It looks like except for the gazebos, the other stuff is just talking points.
which one was that, in the same section?
It's
Gazebos, you had one section on
under-
that, right?
Page 12.
Yeah, page 12.
Maybe we're talking like coffee shop or something, right? Like a general store, which you mentioned, the general store.
For gathering places?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because they were gonna gather, we were talking about senior center, right? You had that in there. I saw you had, we were thinking of something like that, or
Okay.
as the town ages. Well, the people age, the town doesn't. And you're coming on board now. You didn't see a lot of this, right? Yeah. Again, if the Board of Selectmen decides to tear down the old fire station, that's fine, you know what I mean? That's, I'm just saying, because we mentioned repurposing, that's all. That part we talked about adding the fire station too, but with their vision, I'm looking at massing and scale, these new buildings that might come in.
So for gathering places, do you want me to focus
Oh,
on?
where's gathering places again? I had gazebos. You had gazebos,
Yeah,
right?
gazebos, but you said you wanted to include
I thought they entertained, I didn't see a coffee shop. Didn't they try to say use the
community center and like a general store.
general store /
Yeah, I think
gathering place?
when we were discussing in that historic piece there, we looked at, what are the things that could be there, like where the old fire station is now. And I think that's where that conversation came in
Okay.
about, having like a general store or some kind of gathering place for people.
Oh, yeah, we talked about, it wasn't really a senior center, but it was more like a
Like a community
town
center.
community center,
Community
right?
center
With a
or
pool
something.
or whatever,
Yeah.
kind of thing, or
So you wanted this in the
your
old
immunization shots.
town
or-
center
yeah.
section?
Right.
Okay.
The thing with the old fire station, though, I mean, obviously, is it's out of code, and I think the reason that they're using it, if they are
storage.
for
Yeah,
storage,
but at least it
purposes,
stays and it looks
is because
You can't really use it for anything else.
pretty much. So I don't know how that would. I mean, obviously, you can put it in, but I don't know how that.
How feasible that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, this isn't saying they have to do it. It's just
Right.
saying-
Well, it's
for-
encouraging.
for
It's
example.
encouraging.
A vision
Right.
for the
If you
town.
looked at a
Right.
postcard of Litchfield, those 3 buildings are it.
Okay.
I-
So
I
focus
think,
on-
right? If the middle one goes away, but that's not my decision.
I'll
That's-
focus on
we'll
that
let
for the
public
gathering
decide.
places then.
Yeah.
Just the old town center and
Yeah, that's what you're calling it
repurposing
here,
all-
Old Town
Yeah.
Center.
I think when we talked about this area back here, where the fire station was going to go, and then we talked about it possibly having a park across from the forest.
yeah,
I
I
think
have that under the recreation
Yeah.
spot. I
Yeah, your
believe.
art sculptures, your big fire truck and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under Town Hall and Liberty Way Park Visioning, I think. Yeah.
I did get an email from Kate Stevens, and I just want to read it into the record only because she had a couple of things that she wanted to add. This is dated September 18th, 2018. Hi, Michael. I just lost, I'm going to go to that. You won't be able to make it this evening. Here are a few notes I had on the chapter. Update any mention of fire station to old fire station or something to recognize it's not in use anymore. Update river access section. Multi-purpose path improvements. I've heard interest in extending the path, especially to connect more neighborhoods to the conservation area access near Town Hall. Hillcrest is particularly dangerous to travel along as a bike/pedestrian, and there have been accidents on it. Creating a loop around town up 3A and a path along the major connecting roads like Talent, Pinecrest, Hillcrest would be a popular future grant use idea. Albuquerque extension idea could encourage small business growth in town along that road with residential or wooded/park land behind them. Good luck tonight, Kate. So just figured I'd add that in.
And there is somewhere in here that
Yeah,
talks
there's-
about the loop. We could add that connecting those major roads would be a
Is that gonna
benefit as
go in,
well.
is that gonna go in H? That was like in the neighborhood section or the commercial section, right?
Yeah.
Now that went before the voters a while back, right? One of those was it
Connecting a loop.
Hillcrest or Pinecrest put a sidewalk in there. It was turned down.
Yeah,
Not saying it couldn't come up again, but
right.
yeah, it's expensive probably. But I remember you mentioned that.
So the multi-purpose path section, so you,
Is that going to be under transportation or is that going to be?
it's under actually gathering places. I put the bullet for
Gathering,
the,
really?
so that's what you have in your future land use chapter of your master plan right now. So I can rework this to reflect those roads if you want. Pinecrest,
Oh, there it
Hillcrest,
is.
and
How did I miss it?
what were the other ones?
Talent and I think it was it, right? Pinecrest, Hillcrest, Talent.
Okay. Okay, and then linking it with the conservation land.
It's already. I mean, the bike
It's
path is
already
already
linked.
connected.
Yeah.
Okay.
to that. So it would just be linking it to the existing bike path
Okay.
and kind of closing that loop in more places. I would imagine.
Okay. Perfect.
I like you adding the ADA guidelines to the signs.
Oh, is that my idea? I was probably.
I think it was like a live free or die versus you're going to follow the following rules. We remember that was a pretty
We were
good
talking about
discussion
being
that day.
colorblind too and reading signs.
I didn't know the ADI had guidelines for.
Yeah.
I figured they did because they have guidelines for websites, and I work with that all day.
Okay.
They have like
I didn't even think of that one.
requested
Good.
fonts and
Good job.
requested
Yep.
colors and
Yep. Certain contrast ratios,
Mhm.
et cetera.
So we all see the sign this big that says speed trap. But you missed that big one.
That's good.
any specific thoughts on transportation and infrastructure?
I mean, we talked about the. Oh no, we didn't. Establishing a southern connection. We talked about that a while ago.
I thought I was missing the point of this chapter when we first started about this section because I was thinking maybe we needed an idea of we're not, busing's expensive, right? But if the town could subsidize a company in town that
So,
had a little mini bus or something.
yeah, or
But,
like
I don't know if they could.
coach buses.
I don't know.
Greyhound.
I don't know what the prices were, but we did talk about an aging town and just having to do some runs to the medical or the grocery store, which is why that community center came in because you could bring the nurse there, kind of thing. But
Okay.
but yeah, and then we started talking about Uber drivers, right? The call on demand kind of driver that's coming. I don't know what the laws are with that anymore. As people having accidents, but overall they don't. So we're saying infrastructure. We still rely on our cars in this town,
Yeah.
right? And we'd only have 4 or 5 ways into town at the moment, right? So
So you want to
I
make the shift into other transportation?
don't know if it's feasibility. Is it a contract the town has to have with a company, or is it a privately owned company that maybe the town could give a small subsidy to help the residents, or maybe not? Maybe it's just going to be a private company. Maybe nothing's going to happen.
I can look into it. I know certain towns.
Or rather, I see other towns with these rent bikes. I don't think they're going to do that here, right? Or the moped. And you leave the moped when you're done.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
see that happening here, but I don't know if
yeah.
it's going to happen here.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Not enough business to travel.
You can sometimes make agreements with transportation authorities too, like Manchester, maybe if they'd have a stop out here.
Yeah.
But who would be the target audience? Where would they be going? Are you talking like food shop
Yeah,
run?
food shopping
Medical
or
appointments?
yeah.
Or connection to MBTA would be
The
like,
law, you know,
would get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Go literally anywhere. Once
Yeah,
you got to
if you just
MBTA,
had
you
one.
can just
Where's the next, I don't want to say hub, but if you got on a bus, where would they take you to? Do they
Airport,
connect to
probably.
another one or?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the airport's
take
actually
airport, and
one.
then you
Yeah.
go from anywhere from there.
Yeah.
Go use that as a hub to get anywhere in Manchester.
That might be something we should look at if, again, I don't.
We can look into
you know,
it and
we're
see if
doing a
it's
lot of
feasible.
studies at that NRPC, you know, you're doing a lot of transportation studies. That seems to be more highway.
We're doing a lot
bridges.
of, our director's looking into rural public transportation because a lot of it's based on cities. But I don't know if it's funding or a grant, but he's looking into what it would take to bring transportation to rural communities, whether it's like a Greyhound bus that comes occasionally and will take you down to Boston or something or whatnot. But we can see if that's something.
Something like some of the students in the middle of the state try to get to Keene College. If
Well,
there
yeah,
a
that was-
bus
that was
could
one of
get
the big
them to get
ones.
more, you know,
And
just
it
something
was
like that.
connecting Concord and Keene and something like that.
But these seem to be more higher infrastructure, you know, commuting, getting people in and out of work. I think, I hate to say it, but again, I'm in the IT world. We really need an internet here that would help our transportation problems. You don't have to keep getting your car in and out of here, right? If you could really work remotely with a good system. Again, that might be a contract with Comcast to demand some kind of it
Broadband,
being up.
yeah.
So Litchfield's known as the town
Mm.
with the great internet. You move here.
We're
No,
getting
don't
there.
move
I
here.
gotta give you one less.
Again,
Gotta give a
that's
bit less.
beyond. That's what I'm saying.
Less.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know where that would go. This is a land, what kind of chapter is this? Community
Community
design?
design.
Would that fall into here? I mean,
Not
it
so
keeps us
much.
off the roads, you know, more to work or work locally.
This is more what you want things to look like. So what do you want your roads to look
Okay,
like? What
looking
kind of, do you want them to be lined with trees, that kind of thing? Design.
So we're lucky
Matching
we
crosswalks.
have some good companies in town. So we have good roads with that. Okay.
I mean, you could even take it out if you don't want to include it.
So you're talking like sidewalks and
Yeah, what do you want things to look like?
driveways.
Well, I mean, a lot of people use Albuquerque. You have a lot of bike traffic.
Mhm.
People walk, run.
You can even include like transportation signage in here too, if you wanted more bike
Mhm.
directional signage.
Would be good to connect all the schools by sidewalk. Right now,
Mhm.
the middle school is not connected anywhere.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are, things, to think about. If you wanted to have some kind of, I don't know, like a bus station or something, or a little kiosk or something for people to get picked up, to go into city or, an urban area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put it in.
They might be on
I would love
102
that.
today, right? They must have buses on 102, other than school buses, right? I mean, if you could get to that part of town.
I'm sure you could do a contract or something with someone. I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah.
I can research into it and see what the options are. And
But you need to research what not population, but how much of a ridership they need.
yep,
Because they're not gonna-
yeah, come out for like
people.
3.
Yeah.
I don't, my neighborhood's was young, we're getting middle age now, but I don't know anybody older that, I don't want to say feels trapped in their home, but has no way, family
Yeah.
support, kind of thing, I don't, maybe it's a social services issue.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of that, but usually NRPC is trying to think of people getting in and out of work or getting to and from the mall, kind of thing.
But I also think too, I think one of the big things, we want to preserve that rural character,
Mhm.
I think. And so, I think we would want to encourage, not cutting down trees or, putting up, those walls, things of that nature to, I think, that we want to preserve the balance, I guess, with nature and as well as, preserve the character. So that's something to think about in terms of the roads and the neighborhoods and the residential areas, so- and that may tie into another, piece of this, which is what is it? The residential piece.
I mean, we haven't
Single
talked about
family
it a
residential.
lot.
Yeah.
So I guess we could add more in.
What?
And so we kind of talk about preserving the character of the town.
Yeah.
Every,
Well, yeah, no, maybe that, I don't want to.
Yeah, I guess.
But what I'm saying is just basically to keep it.
Promote green space and
Well, yeah,
landscaping.
and make sure that it fits within, that rural. I keep coming back to that rural character, but that's what it
Have I
is.
seen a street light in Litchfield? I always stop on Albuquerque and one of them, and I wait for a light, and there isn't one there. Do we have street? I think in our ordinances, do we have a
Like
street
traffic
light?
lights or
Oh.
I
street
think we have
Any
a
traffic
traffic light.
lights.
We don't have no traffic lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rotaries, I haven't seen. Yeah, I know, but I'm not saying we can dictate that, but that's part of the rural stuff you're talking about.
Okay, so no big
I'm not saying, no,
intersections.
that doesn't, I don't know if we can get down to that granularity if we should, but I haven't seen one.
What about like how the actual roads are built? Do you want wider roads? Some people like roads with big shoulders.
See, wider roads would help with like a bike lane, but
Yeah.
in our case, we already have a bike
Bike
path.
lanes.
Right.
So I don't know, because wider
Yeah.
lanes also lead to more speeding statistically, because people feel safer on them and they drive.
When we were
faster.
doing
Yeah.
the housing for older persons, the first one, they made smaller roads, and then after that, they went back to 24 feet
Yeah.
pavement.
Sometimes people, if you're familiar with the Complete Streets policies at all, there's traffic calming measures. I don't know if you have any issues with roads where people speed a lot, but
Yeah.
it's like, speed bumps or curb bulb outs for pedestrians that need to cross or something like that. So it narrows, so cars will slow down. There's like a few different key principles that they have.
Strategies for handling that.
Yeah.
It's
Seems like islands in the middle.
Yep.
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 I'll look more into that.
Because we do traffic studies, every time somebody comes to us, right, we say, how many trucks are you bringing into town, right? So there's a reason we're asking that, right?
Yeah.
But the interesting one is Pinecrest and Albuquerque, where there's four-way stop sign, which you're lucky if people stop there. That would be a perfect place to put a rotary to slow down the traffic.
Absolutely.
So you want more
The
rotaries?
rotary would
Well-
help.
Rotaries are considerably safer.
If
Well,
people,
I
if people use them correctly.
Yes, but even statistically,
No, not
overall,
bad.
they're considerably safer.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, look it up.
Oh, that for a snowplow, though.
People drive a lot slower through rotaries.
Yeah,
You could
that's
put,
why there's two.
put nice
coming
things in
out.
the middle.
Even if people do get in a crash in the rotary, it's not like you're going to plow
got a
into somebody at
school
40
bus
miles an hour.
If
Yeah.
you go down 114 to Goffstown, there is one, I
Yep.
believe, after the Villa Augustina there. I think if you keep
Coming
going.
out
There's
of
like
the-
3 in Goffstown.
Does that help the
Coming out of the
situation?
new
though?
market
We're trying
basket,
to,
you have those two little rotaries, and that really slows things.
where's that?
Out of the new market basket, or the back way out of market basket.
Pelham has 2 in their downtown.
Are they good? Do they help?
Yeah, actually, I think it helped their traffic a lot. There was a lot of congestion in there before, but keeps things moving.
Yeah.
Supposedly, it helps emissions because there's less stopping and idling.
If people would learn to yield going in and blinker light going out, it would be
Yes.
so much easier.
Yes.
That's a big,
Yeah, it's hard to account
should we
for.
talk about
user
rotaries at that
error.
level?
Well, it's not something,
Rotary?
again, this is a visioning piece, and we have to concentrate on the fact that we can encourage.
Encourage
I would
rotaries.
gladly encourage rotaries.
Okay.
That's something that to think about if you wanted to do that. But it's not something that's, obviously going to be set in stone. So, it's a visioning piece.
Yeah. Well, in the future, if you wanted funding for a certain intersection that's not safe or something based on crash data, you could propose that.
Yeah.
I want a rotary.
I do like the fences I see that when I'm going through
You like the fences?
rural area, they're wooden fences, they blend in and not the,
You mean like
Like down
split rail
Albuquerque?
fences,
Yeah.
not like the sound barriers. on-
visually I like it, yeah. It looks like it belongs there,
I
Like down Albuquerque, you ever see those beige
Mhm.
wooden fences?
Yeah. And again, I think that goes
Heading
back
towards
to
the
that.
high school.
I like that too. That's actually one of the first things I noticed when I
Yeah.
drive through Litchfield.
So you see the marsh in the back, it's not blocked,
Uh,
So the safety rails
Yeah.
are not, as long as they're safe.
I don't know.
They look great, but you still went in the ditch. So that's a visual, right?
Yeah.
That we like.
I like that as
You want
well.
to put that in? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where
split rail
fences would
fences.
go. Is that under roads?
Yeah, roadscape,
Or is
why
that
not?
I don't know if that's transportation or is that neighborhood or road? I don't know what that
You can put it under transportation infrastructure.
Somebody brought up the signs about the poor turkeys getting run over and the foxes about animals crossing. or
Oh,
something.
Animal Crossing signs?
Add some of that because
Okay.
Wildlife signs.
people do
Yes,
walk.
absolutely.
I think that, I mean,
I think people are
I don't know
often
if that's again belongs in
have it
this
in their
chapter, but
minds when
we
they
would
talk about
welcome that because one of the things I brought up I liked about the town was the wildlife here.
And it's all getting run over.
I had I had 2 wildlife signs on Albuquerque now.
They do?
I have one, one got lifted.
Oh no.
What was, it just said wildlife or did it have a couple
Wildlife
of ducks?
crossing.
Or turtles,
Yeah.
the poor turtles. That, maybe work with the conservation.
Yeah, that's,
That's a good one.
something to think about, yeah.
Because that's under signage and it's
Sure.
under,
Yeah.
I don't know what's safety or transportation. Trying to think what else. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the big one we need here, but it doesn't seem to be.
Not really anything big because we've gone through a lot already.
Yeah, all the big stuff has
We're
been
now
touched
kind
on.
of, exactly. We're just kind of adding little things in. But
And-
so far.
Yeah, substantively, there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah, I think those are things definitely to,
Big things I would work on would be coming up with some good recommendations, like 5 to 7, just for the recommendation section. Like overall, like what are your big takeaway items
from the
after reading
chapter.
this? So when someone reads through all of it, what do you want to really stick with them?
Definitely preserve character.
Yeah, and preserve the real character.
That's definitely, I feel like, the biggest takeaway of this whole thing
Mhm.
is that there seems to be a lot of fear of development. So we want to be like, listen, first of all, our goal is to preserve the character, but we still want to see development.
Mhm.
I think it's it's to preserve the rural feel of the community. That's a big part of,
a lot
I think
of-
that's the big part of the reason that a lot of people come to this town is pretty much,
You mentioned community too. You liked having community events or spots where community, because everyone
Yeah,
knows
and I
each
think
other.
that's
That kind of thing.
that's a big piece, I think, in the
Bless you.
town as well. Bless you.
yeah, I would say that's one of the takeaways. It's definitely
Okay.
I think a lot of people,
community center of some sort,
community.
right?
And I think, when we did the Dara Pond
Idea.
piece,
Yeah, that was fun.
we had, the idea that there would be some kind of, I don't know if it was a community center, but a rec center or something, but something that would,
We talked about that in a couple of places. All
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
areas where we talked about potentially doing this was we were saying that any one of these would be possible to have some kind of big community center
right.
if we wanted to. And we showed like 3 or 4 different possibilities here. One along the
Mhm.
river there,
Yep.
one at Dara, and one here,
Mhm.
saying that we'd really like to see some kind of community center, regardless of where it is.
But some of the stuff we like, in a kind of with a kitchen, a banquet hall, not a big banquet hall, but if you're going to meet and have tables and chairs, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did we used to call them? Not Knights of Columbus, but they used to be like veterans associations. You could rent the building. For
The VFW.
VFW, I don't want to take a business, but I'm just saying something. If you needed
Yeah.
a hall, you could. And
That
there was
has a
training
working
rooms if
kitchen
you
or
needed to
something.
have, like something professional.
Mhm.
But the other big part of that, like the other side of it, is that we're also trying to use what we already have too,
Right.
Like and try to really show it off, right? The muster fields across at the river, at the town hall here,
Mhm.
and then at Dara, just trying to show off that we have Dara and people should go to Dara and be
Well,
more involved.
We spend a lot of time in parks, and we have a lot of people on boards about parks, conservation, health.
Yep.
That probably is there any recommendation there? I mean, they already have a lot
Conservation.
going on. Well, they already have a lot going on,
Yeah.
but we want to keep
Well, I think the more we can
with that,
kind
right?
of,
But we really have a lot in here on parks.
yes, I think that was one of the
Recreation
biggest.
seems to be a big
Yeah,
topic in this chapter, right?
Yeah. You wanted, I noticed a lot throughout the chapter, you wanted to really use the river more
The river and
because you thought it was an asset to the community and you wanted to
Yeah.
kind of promote river access and
Right. I think that was something that yeah.
That
we
River's
want
Edge
to
was a big
encourage,
one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that should definitely be.
We
a
really want to
recommendation.
promote the assets that bring people in, right? Because we want to get
Yeah.
more people discovering what Litchfield has to offer.
Yeah.
Which is again, we got Darrow, we got the river, we've got
Part of our heritage.
exactly all these. Yeah, exactly all these parts of our different parts of our heritage, the farms and the rural character.
It's almost leading in, and some of the other things I've read about the state is health, because we're trying to get them to the parks. We're trying to get you to bike.
Yeah.
We're trying to get you to walk. We're trying to get you to eat the good food at the farm, So I'm not saying that's a visual here, but we are kind of tapping on.
So promote like healthy community.
It is, that's what I mean. It is supporting. I hope it's a healthy community. Not that that's our role here. Do we have a health department?
No, I have no idea.
But I mean, our school systems, we're trying to, every town is, I'm sure, but.
Yeah.
And we're still keeping the balance of lots of conservation land versus the town owns land as well, right? So we're still keeping a lot of green
Yep.
fiscally, right?
We just want to make sure that. In
So
the
that's
new
another
developments-
balance that's in there, right? That we have a health, we're trying to stay healthy. I think walking, parks, all of this that we have here. We're trying to see if we can get transportation to keep anyone who has to get help, or
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to keep the farms going, what can we do to keep them
Transportation
life
goes both
easier
ways,
so
though. We
they're
want to get
healthy.
people in too.
Yeah,
Transportation goes both ways. We want to get people in too, right?
that's true. Come visit your farms.
Right,
Yep,
to
exactly.
experience, right. Experience.
So that'll help the town grow, right? We want to have a healthy business community here as well.
So you're thinking maybe a partnership with another town?
I can look into it. I mean, I'm sure.
Would there be a town here that would be a partnership?
I don't know.
Who's close, who would close to?
Well,
Manchester,
Who-
Nashua.
Who would come? Who would you
To have
think
like a bus come in.
Manchester,
Yeah.
Nashua to escape the
the
city.
airport.
I mean, there's the,
They come down.
Exactly.
Thanks for the graffiti. I'm like.
I mean, you obviously, we're in the national region. You have Londonderry, you have Manchester, you have Hudson. Those are really, and of course, you have the neighbor across the river, Merrimack, so in Bedford. So those are the, the places that, if you're looking for a connection, yes.
I'll look
I'm
and
not
see
sure
what's out there.
It's a transportation thing that
Some
has already
research.
happened, but it's had to help the town. What's that, Raymond Weazork Drive, whatever.
Resorts.
Just getting in and out of there on the.
Oh,
it
yeah.
has added a quality of life to people. Just
The
for-
airport
for
access
work and
road.
getting
yeah.
to all the other highways through there.
And now you have the access in Londonderry where the, what is it, the Pratt and Whitney building
Mhm.
on that road that cuts across
Mhm.
to go up to Harvey. Harvey Road? In Londonderry, so, and into Manchester. So, I mean, you have that access, plus you have access to the bridge coming over. So, you've expanded that area a great deal in terms of the businesses and so forth. But,
What about like a park and ride for transportation? Would people do that? Are there a lot of commuters?
yeah, I don't know.
But what?
Park
Like
and
a park and ride?
You
Where
know,
people,
park and ride, you've seen them, where you take a car and you leave it and then you go
go to work
on a trip or
wherever,
something,
yeah.
go away and then you come back, you pick up your car and
Oh,
you've seen them.
For carpooling.
Yeah, something like that. But
Has there ever been like a study, or is there kind of a general feel of like where do people work?
yeah, to see if they're. Well, I don't know if there's.
I have
been a
no,
study,
I
but
have no idea. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I mean, I
Curious
think,
to see.
yeah, I
don't know if
mean.
a lot of people
do
go to
a lot
Boston
are a lot
or
of people,
Manchester.
working in Massachusetts and living here, or, are they living nearby? I mean, are they
There was a
working
study in
nearby?
NRPC on that, right? Some of the towns going south and how many were coming in.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
there
surprising
was
coming in.
Yeah. where people are working. I know the average commute time's like 35, 40 minutes, something like that. So people are driving far to
Right.
get to work wherever they're going.
I like too, the town so far, we're not in a crisis mode.
Yeah, no.
And I hate the term sustainability because that was a fad, not too long ago, but we're not in a crisis and we can grow and keep it balanced. I guess the word's balance I'm looking here, right? You see that happening? So everything you see here is a healthy kind of
So
housing, a
maintain
healthy kind
balance.
of parks. I don't mean health, I just mean quality of life. What, is that a better term to use here?
You can maintain a high quality of life.
Mhm.
You can
Well,
put that
I
as
don't
a
mean high quality
recommendation.
life, like
Yeah.
get your nose up in the air because your taxes or your house is worth $1 million for a postage stamp. But no, quality of life of everything you have is here, and you're safe and taken care of, kind of thing. But I think Litchfield has that to offer, right? And everything we have in here so far seems not to go against that, right?
Well, I think the biggest
Quality of life, that should be our motto.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just take away what the biggest things that we talked about in this document were. And one of them was definitely parks or town center.
Mhm.
One of them was, as we're talking about transportation infrastructure into and out of the town, and also from points in the town to other points in the town, right? Internal transportation as well as external.
Like that, internal and external, we could break it up.
And then we talked mostly about kind of preserving the character through business, whether it be through how new developments come in or their landscaping and even housing. Most of it is just about preserving the character. So that would be like the three things that I took away are like preserving the character, transportation, and then community center. I don't know how we spin that into a recommendation, but
Mhm.
What about repurposing or reuse of historical buildings too?
Yes.
Is that a good one?
yes,
Yeah.
using our assets.
And that's
that we
part of, I
have.
think, preserving the characters,
Part of our heritage.
repurposing.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
Okay.
River's Edge was a big one,
Yep.
Right.
seeing the Merrimack River.
The Merrimack,
Okay.
I think.
Perfect.
That's just my takeaway. It was preserving character, repurposing. I don't want to say sustainable growth, but non-crisis growth. I don't know how we want to word that. We were talking about how the neighborhoods would grow, what they would look like, right, kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It still seems to be community focused, like you said. We have an
Yeah.
internal view. for the
Community center
right?
and
Like we want to get out of Dodge quick, right?
camaraderie.
And then the River's Edge seemed to be the takeaway.
Oh yeah, rivers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. River access
And
and
a lot of the
parks.
farms, but I think that's because of the history anyway.
But that's basically all I mean, that was pretty much summarizes my
Space
thoughts on
there.
it.
Did we want to include anything on promoting farming or supporting farming? I think we
I
touched
mean,
on that. I don't know if that's a recommendation.
It's really, I
Do
don't
we do
know.
that from a planning board point of view? I'm trying to
I don't
remember
know
if
how
I've read
sustainable-
specific
Yeah.
rules just to help.
Try to conserve
Well,
farmlands. I think that
encourage
goes with like green
yeah,
space,
yeah,
but
the preservation of
Encourage it,
okay.
preservation of agriculture.
Okay. I can
But I don't want to. I don't know.
I can just note it under
That could be part of that, preserving our
the
character and
Yeah.
history. right?
Yeah.
Because you have open spaces in here. Yeah, you have a section on that.
Perfect.
But I like your idea about transportation, like an internal
Internal.
or in and out, or whatever it was.
Both
You're right, within
into
the
and out of
town.
town and inside of the town. How do we get around inside of the town, right? So like bike paths, stuff like that, and then how do people get into the town and how do people get out of the town? So
Yeah. Okay.
But even we're not trying to solve the problem, we're just saying what it would look like.
exactly. This is like our roadmap for the future.
God, are we gonna have drones start showing up?
This is great.
Packages from the sky. I mean, we gotta worry about that.
Yeah, we got to set up our drone infrastructure. Get Amazon.
Yeah, right. Start
Let's not
buying
get out of-
airspace.
Out of control, okay?
And you talked about you had a chapter on solar, which was good, right? Because we're trying to, it almost seems like we're welcoming all types of energy resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I had to say.
And you did say, I think everything's balanced. You're balancing the business with the residential as well.
Yeah, I
There
can.
seems to be a theme of balance and quality of life that we're,
Right.
and not in reaction mode. We can control
I can emphasize that too in the
so balance
recommendations
and
and
quality of
the
life.
balance.
Balance, yeah.
Okay.
Does anything that we came up with in this chapter so far, is there anything that if it was gonna happen, the board would need to sort of know about it. I don't think so. Like, they know about homes are coming in, businesses. If it's a big one, they're gonna know before we do, right? If up on 102 behind the woods is a big 8-story something coming in, right? But that's hidden. We talked about the driveways, right? I'm just trying to think if there's anything here that if this is what we're envisioning, they need to do something upstream before this could happen, is all I'm saying, maybe the transportation thing falls makes sense. That's all I'm saying. It's just,
In terms of like regulations or?
anything. I'm just saying, we're looking at generalities, but if this was something that we liked, are we missing something? Something have to be in place for that to happen. Is all. I don't
Well,
know.
usually you
Might be-
start with this and then you can work towards achieving
All right. I
this
didn't know.
vision that you establish. Yeah.
I don't want pie in the sky,
Yeah.
Space shuttle out back, kind of thing.
Yeah. So this is just kind of like getting all these
I don't see
ideas and
anything. is what
visions
I'm saying,
out.
unless you guys see something that's blatantly.
And I really think that's what the Regional Planning Commission is really there to, is
Well, that's
that,
like
that
transportation, yeah.
resource. I mean, you can even, maybe mention something about that, but, because that's really where that piece comes in, I think, what you're trying to say. But I think what we have to focus on is Litchfield.
I was just, my example would be like, if we really wanted that infrastructure of Comcast or holding them to a contract that they can't come down more than 99.9%, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That kind of thing. But you're right, yeah, anything with roads is definitely, for sure.
But I think the important piece to that too is as to preserve that rural feel. I think that's really important. And that basically, whether it's green space and call it green space, preserving trees or whatever, that landscape has to be. I think that's something that we need to encourage. That look. So.
I can put that as number 1 for recommendations.
So.
You had accessory dwelling units you added to variety, right? Did we have more 55 and older in here? I don't remember. I'm on page 2. It says variety. I saw that you have underlined, massing of scale, we had accessory dwelling units, right?
Yep.
I saw we had 2-family homes, duplexes. Remember we added that last time?
Mhm.
That's- So the 2 red.
Yeah, and
Did we have
convexes.
something, I don't know if we have, I don't remember seeing if we're going to have 55 and older.
I would not recommend it.
Yeah. Did you?
I would specifically not recommend it
Why?
because we have 8 already.
We have 350 units of senior
We have
housing.
350 units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be 8.
So I would say we are good on the 55 plus.
But I mean, we can't say if they come in front of us and it's legal.
Yeah, I mean, they can do whatever they want. I just wouldn't recommend it.
Is that
They won't
something you would
because
envision for the
there's no
town?
density bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't
Yeah.
have kids in the school system. Is it a problem? I don't know. I don't know if that's a problem or not.
You
Does
don't want
anybody
to,
else?
you don't want to skew your population.
Yeah.
in that
Right.
direction.
So like adding in
Well, you
elderly
well, you
housing
have
or
the,
assisted living.
You
or
have
the-
2-family homes, duplexes, condexes, right?
Mhm.
And accessory dwelling units, keeping people in the home or, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't know if we want to say that or not say it. Doesn't mean you can't do it.
Accessory dwelling units kind of taking up that slack on the senior
Yeah.
housing because
Yeah.
most of what we have had is people enlarging their home for bringing parents in.
That was the whole legal thing about the accessory dwelling units in the first place, was that it was you can't limit it because of that.
Well, I think the conversation too with the variety was adding more of what you don't have. So I think that's
Okay.
Right.
why this is. So I mean, you can
Okay.
definitely include it if you want, but I think this was we don't have a lot of
Yeah, we don't.
starter
yeah.
homes or things like that. So I think that's why
And then we got into price points, right?
I believe. But yeah, anything you want to add, just let me know and I can put it in
All
there.
right. I mean, I'm just brought it up, but it's not saying we can't do it.
Oh yeah, I
It's
mean,
not saying
you
only
can-
these
Right.
kinds can come here.
Yeah.
Because we can't do that.
No,
but
I think you guys just wanted more diverse housing to
Yeah.
And we wanted
encompass
I'm gonna recommend leaving
all
that one.
needs,
That
yeah.
part out of that.
cheaper
Yeah.
housing, right? Which is the
Yeah.
duplexes, the if it may be. unless you
yeah,
have-
affordable, lower cost housing and starter homes.
Is it legal requirements every town has to have so much? I don't know.
Yeah,
Income.
actually, I think a certain percentage
I have
has
no
to be affordable.
Yeah,
And meet whatever
workforce
the-
housing.
The
Yeah.
standard
What
for
about mobile
affordable
homes?
is pretty high.
Yeah, it's not
Way
very
back.
affordable,
Yeah.
but
Those manufactured homes were nice.
That have like,
Some of the
is that for, like,
manufactured homes look like a
multifamily?
real home, you know?
You know, multifamily and
You want to put
affordable housing is
manufactured
two
home or
different
do you do it
things.
small?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you do get
Just leave it.
would
big
leave it.
developments, sometimes they get like bonus points or tax cuts for having a certain amount
Yeah.
affordable, or sometimes require that a certain amount be affordable, so you don't get these like really rich
My dad was a big part of
apartments
the
and no one can afford to live there. And
affordable workforce housing.
Mhm.
That was a potential
Workforce
issue that
housing.
we were worried about.
Yeah.
Is that we weren't going to have enough.
Well, I don't think we do.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand about limit garages to 1 story. I understand that some of the footprints are bigger than the house. I get
Yeah.
that. Or the gables completely opposite of the house going. But on parking, I'm still on page 2 where it says parking.
oh yeah, yeah, I don't know where that one
I
came
don't
from
know.
either.
I don't remember someone saying, I know there's some big
Remember that.
garages. Limit garages to 1 story where possible. Oh, wait, 1 story and possibly turn the structure sideways. I understand that sideways. I get that idea, but because some of the attachments they do don't even look like the original house, you know? But did somebody say,
I don't
1
remember.
story?
I don't remember.
I remember
seeing
who was talking about it, but I don't remember if that
I don't
was-
remember where it came from though.
that. Might have been,
I
might
I
have
know
been
who
Kate,
said it, but I don't want to,
but
do we
she's
want to
not
do
here.
that? Do you
I
want to
have
only
no
have a
idea.
1-story garage?
I have no opinion on limiting garage. I would
Yeah, I don't.
not
we all-
mind at all.
I think it makes a
Yeah.
for like a town like this. I don't think it makes a huge difference.
Is there concern about people like apartments over? Because that seems to be a common thing.
I just
Then
think
you
that,
could have an accessory dwelling over if it was attached.
right,
Yeah,
Yeah, but it still
Or
wouldn't
you have a
even
business.
make much of a difference on the appearance of the house, right? The outward appearance.
that's true. What's happening?
Yeah.
Did it make is that affecting the feel of the town?
Especially if it's a 2-story house, it's going to just match. I mean,
Exactly.
we
So I
don't.
don't see it as a concern.
do you want me to take that out?
Yeah.
I understand being sideways, you know, kind of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I just don't think it
their
makes.
preference.
although it
Maybe the
sounds-
septic tank's over there. You gotta. All right. Small
Okay, I'll take that
garage.
out. Yeah, I don't
Did
really.
we mention anything about?
I don't think there'd be
Yeah,
any
I don't
huge
know
benefits
if
of
that
doing
was a
that.
discussion. I can't remember if Jen had brought up something about that, but I don't remember.
So we're talking about a single residence, maybe have an accessory dwelling unit in it, right? Because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Do we want to envision more people working from home? Maybe why you do that.
I don't know how we would envision that. Is the only problem that I have. Like, I like the concept, but I don't know how we envision that in like a design document.
It would still look like the single residence, just.
But you have that now. If it's
Yeah.
evident to the public, you have a home occupation, and if it's not evident to the public, you can just work at home on your computer.
Yeah.
So we're just talking looks, not functionality at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this-
this is
yeah.
really
Just
looks,
making
yeah.
sure, because I got into accessory dwelling unit and it looks single, but it's really not, you know. Okay, so we don't have to promote that. But we talked about commercial development. I feel like we're missing the big obvious. Maybe we're not.
I feel like we're in a pretty good place at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to say let's go back.
Well, we had
and
to do our
review what we got.
transportation and recommendations, right? What, there was one more
We
section.
are- we went-
Conclusion.
yeah.
Okay.
We went through both of those already. We talked about transportation and recommendations.
Well, we have to still think about transportation, right?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we
you might
want
have a rotary.
we have a bunch of ideas though.
Yeah, I
It's really
can.
traffic flow at that point.
I can draft something up, and then if you guys think of something new, just shoot me or Jay an email, and I can add it in, and
Yep.
I can bring a new draft for whenever we discuss this next, and kind of.
Do we still have the people who come in to contribute to things?
That's a very good
I wanna have
question.
them- I wanna get their
Do you
input
know the ladies that are usually here?
Yeah.
Are they still? They
could,
still want to
were they
participate
invited?
in
I don't know
this?
if they were invited
or-
tonight or not.
I think we didn't think of that.
I could.
Or maybe
just
they
make
didn't
a complete
realize. that-
draft, and then,
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like we're at a good
Maybe
point now.
Uber, I don't know.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on with that, but-
I feel like we're at a good point now to like maybe break away, have you draft some stuff up, and then come back with
like
everybody.
a full draft. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, have everybody come back, and then we can look at it again.
Sure.
Because I feel like,
Yeah,
We're at a
because
good-
we have the subcommittee and.
yeah, exactly.
Refine it.
I want to include them in on
They
this.
did a lot of good work in here.
Yeah, it's been
A lot of it
a,
was their ideas as well, right?
yeah, it's been an enjoyable kind of experience making this. Came up with a lot of really cool ideas.
Sounds good to me. I can do that.
Thank you, Cassie. Very
Sure.
good job.
My pleasure.
All your hard work definitely paid off. And
I'll give you the names before we leave.
yes, we'll
I'll give you the exact, what the names are
Oh,
called.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
focus on the transportation piece and then the recommendations and the conclusions. And we should be on our way. So, very good. Thank you. Okay, anybody have anything else? To add?
I think I scanned this to you, the municipal law lecture series.
Yes, and I'm actually going to be going to that, one of those. I haven't decided which one. But,
You can either sign up yourself and get reimbursed
mhm,
or call me and I can.
okay.
send you it.
So that is available to all of us on the board, and I would encourage you to maybe attend one of the lectures or sign up for one. They're very good.
Maybe Jerry is closest one.
Yeah.
When are these on? Oh, I see the dates now.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to the all-day one and do the 3 lectures, or are you gonna do individual?
I may do an individual. I'm not sure yet, depending on what night it is.
I think the all-day one's on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'll probably do it during the week.
The individual ones are Wednesdays, 7 to 9.
Yeah, that's probably what I would probably be doing on Wednesdays. So. mhm.
There's
Might
no
do the
budget
Saturday
problem
one.
if everybody
October.
wanted to take one.
I'll make my calendar.
So, obviously think about it, and if you're interested, let Joan know, and you
There's
can
another
sign
one
up.
about roads that, probably pretty in-depth. I'll have to go back and look at that. I forget when it was.
Is that a law series?
No, it wasn't in the law series. It was, I think it was put up in the municipal association. Yeah, it was. I'll look it up. And then the Conservation Commission has moved back to the first Thursday of the month.
Right,
So we'll be meeting October 4th.
and it'll be here in Town Hall.
And we'll probably be in the back because the Budget Committee will start meeting here.
Okay, all right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
NRPC has a meeting.
Oh, we're on committee reports? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some
tomorrow.
things to talk about on that.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
This is the time.
All right, and I will give you the names because my phone's on it, so I won't let you get out of here without that. I had a couple of things about the committees. If you can give me 1 second. I do want these back because I have to hand these out to people. Can I give them back if you don't mind? I'm going to tell you what page to go to. There you go. It's going to be pretty boring, but all right, let me just get my note quick on these. Just give me 1 second, please. Because I had a list that I wanted to go through, and oh, it's over here, my phone. Okay. First of all, the Heritage Commission. There are now 4 members that have been sworn in. I am waiting to hear from Troy Brown on when we're going to start. I sent him an email just to say, I'm not rushing you. I just, just let us know. So that's the first report. The second one is for the Board of Selectmen. We had spoken about our Chapter 8 that we had done in the past. You're new to the committee, so you weren't part of this Chapter 8. If you can just look at page 6 and 7 of this, I highlighted in yellow what to look at. We need to let the board, I was talking with a board member kind of at a Cub Scout thing, and we were just talking about the town growing, and, we were spewing out numbers, and we're like, wait a minute, that doesn't match the number I have. So I said, oh, we just redid this chapter. Because they remember working with an RPC before. So if you go to page 6 and 7, what I'm going to do is scan this in and to Troy Brown, let him see if the board would like to read it, but I definitely want to give it to the one board member who was questioning it. So I also spoke with Michael before it goes out. I just wanted to make sure he knew. So if you go to page 6 and 7, what this chapter was before you came here, we went over this chapter again and modified it a little bit. We looked at the land all here in Litchfield, what was conservation land, what was farmland, what was residential business, all of that. So you can see us breaking it up A, B, C, and D at the bottom here, okay? Because then we ended up going to the next page because we needed to figure out how many more residences could be built in Litchfield, okay? This is the land use chapter. And build out seemed to be this big concern about, oh, if we build out as many houses as possible, we've maxed out our tax base and, Not that they can't sell some land they own, but, so we wanted to see how much more houses could be built in Litchfield, really. So if you go to the last two pages, 9 and 10, there were 4 scenarios that this group came up with. Scenario 1 is if we just built single-family residential homes on vacant land and agricultural land, there could be 924 new homes built and bring the population up to 10,000. I'll go to page 9 and 10. Okay? Does that make sense? Because his number was like in the 400s. I'm like, oh no, we can have more. And if you're a board of selectmen making decisions about schools and whatever's coming to town, you better know what these numbers are if they've changed. Scenario 2 is if you were single family homes and you just built on the vacant land that we had available, it was 586 homes and with like another 1,700 people moving to town. Scenario 3 is on the next page. If we started talking about the mixed use and single family homes, which we have in our new chapter that Cassie has worked with on us, if you did mixed of multiple homes or single family homes on the vacant and agricultural land, you could have a total of 693 new single family homes, 124 two-family homes, 348 multifamily homes. So the population can go up even more. And if you just did if you did mixed homes and single homes, you could have 440 new homes, 220 multiple family homes. So it's whether you did vacant land and agricultural land or just vacant land only. Okay, so those are the 4 scenarios that I think we should let the board know it's not 400 homes.
We could be double that.
Yeah, I just wanted them to be aware of that, okay? So that'll be one thing that goes to the board. The second thing that has to go to the board, which again, we came up with a zoning ordinance, you're new to the group. For our next meeting, is the meeting on October going to be
October 2nd.
them coming back who were here last time?
No,
We don't know yet. Okay, so I'll scan this in so we can look at it before, but you don't have to read it, I'll go over it. When we had our demolition ordinance about taking down historical buildings in town, one of the criteria was it had to be over 500 square feet and built prior to 1960. But then the building inspector code enforcement officer, who's no longer employed here, and the fire department had to tell if the building was unsafe, because it was unsafe, it was coming down. So the new person has to be aware of this procedure. I don't know if they are. And number 2 is if that person,
We don't have a new person.
oh, I thought we had like a contractor in.
No,
Well,
we have
it's
a temp-
the-
We have a temp,
We have a what?
temporary person.
Okay, so because right now, and if that person answers to the fire department, we kind of lose our check and balance, because if it's an old building, they can just say rip it down, rip it down, rip it down. So we were trying to have a check and balance of the fire department says it's unsafe or the building inspector, and if it's the same, we need to look at that check and balance, is what I'm
And
saying.
Troy is he still the
Oh, yeah, that's right,
interim
he has a new
zoning code
We
person?
had this discussion because the state has put a contract out to take down 3 houses in Litchfield. One is on 3A. And Troy mentioned that needs to, when they decide they're going to do that, that needs to have some attention taken to it.
Does Troy have a new role of something? Troy has a new,
Yeah, he's code enforcement.
oh, he
Yeah,
is the code
he's-
enforcement officer.
Because-
This is building inspector, code enforcement officer.
The reason for that is because under the state statute, the Board of Selectmen become the code enforcement officer, and they can elect their own or appoint their own person or designee, and they appointed Troy. I
Okay,
believe, to
so
do
it'll be
that.
the fire department and Troy does not work.
Zoning administrator.
Right.
He's also the, he's got a
Well,
lot of jobs.
zoning administrator, I don't think.
Okay, so do we have to bring that in front of anybody? Is that check and balance still there?
Well,
I mean-
what, we get a demolition permit because this guy had called to see if he needed to have a demolition permit for a septic system, I think. And that's how the whole conversation started. And then I asked him if it's one of these houses on 3A, and it was that one. So then I mentioned to Troy that needs to go to the Heritage Commission.
That's why we got to get that going, which he knows, he already knows what it, so the check and balance we had was the fire department had to say it was unsafe, or and it was an and, right?
But now the building inspector will be working for the.
That's what I mean. Did we lose our check and balance?
Yeah.
But-
you might have.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, for first of all, I thought we had another person, so we'd have to bring them up to speed with at least this piece. But if that's the way it is, we need to maybe, I don't know if we have to reword the ordinance. Because
Yeah,
before it was an and, because we just didn't want one
happen with
person
that.
to say, take the building down. We wanted to say, hey, we try to save it, kind of thing. So should we, let's think about that, you or the group? Or, I'm not sure. This can't work without the Heritage Commission anyway, because they're gonna
Right,
analyze it
well,
anyway. So we have 4 members, but we have to start getting the charter going.
I mean, if Troy or either the Board of Selectmen are, acting as the code enforcement,
Mhm.
that's really part of that process would be, they
So
would
we
be part
might-
of that check and balance. I mean, you'd have the fire
Mhm.
and then you would have them because we don't have one, someone.
So does it, the wording work is, right now it's an and, they both have to be agreed to take it down. So does it still stand?
I mean,
Should I just run it by
they,
Troy to make sure? Or-
I mean, like I said, under the state statute, it's the Board of Selectmen that becomes the de facto
Mhm.
code enforcement. So essentially,
You always have.
it's really.
But they
them.
always were, right? Kevin worked for them anyway. technically,
Right, but we
So-
don't have someone, I mean, we have someone who's
Just
being a
doing-
designee of the
But just doing
board.
building inspections, not getting involved in it.
So should we not do anything with this yet? I just didn't know if it was a
Well,
problem
you might
yet.
want
Just
bring it to
clarify
Troy's
with Troy.
Yeah, I think that, and, maybe, even, I think brings that to his attention and, tell them, listen, this is the situation. We have this issue of checks and balances. We want to make sure that that's
Yeah.
being followed. I think that's the person you need to speak.
Okay, so we'll do that. So I'll reach out to him on that one. Okay. NRPC, we meet tomorrow night. I was expecting Jay, but you know this person. I spoke to Michael about this as well. It's actually in your NRPC handout coming that we're reading tomorrow. You have a gentleman there named Greg Lantos that works for you, very meticulous with the statistics, and he's excellent at what he does. At the end of the last meeting, we usually get a packet that we read before we go in. He did a handout of 2 pages, but actually some of it's in here, so we're lucky. As a member, I'm one of the commissioners, and Tyler is the other person. And we have the 13 surrounding towns, and we can vote on common vision, right, or whatever. He
the commission
mentioned,
meeting
he
tomorrow, right?
mentioned,
Tomorrow night.
yeah, I'm gonna just want to ask a question about this. Maybe you can just diffuse something here if I'll
Sure.
ask him. He said projects for 2029 to 2045 that had some fiscal, were never going to fiscally happen because the towns can't match the 50-50 or whatever. But he was saying if a windfall ever happened, say $10 billion fell in, the circumventional highway, or whatever that's called, was going to go to the top of the list. And I'm thinking myself, I'm not a board of selectmen. I can't vote. Hey, go do that, So I want to make sure what that really meant, and I'll ask him tomorrow night at the meeting. So they were saying this project has been dead for 40 years or whatever, right? They've never had the money, but they're saying if all of a sudden a windfall came in, we would designate this to be a high priority. And here we are voting yay and nay, and I'm like, I don't think I have the authority
Oh, for
to
like
say anything about a highway coming. And not that it's probably never going to happen, but I'm just saying the world's funny sometimes. I just want to make sure that
for
that should
the,
go
is he
back.
talking about the MTP plan?
Yeah.
That and it might just be the project list that he's talking about.
it is
I
a
know
project
he's
list, but
been,
he said that would go to the top. And
yeah.
if all the surrounding towns are saying yes, and I'm sitting here going, abstain, and all of a sudden it goes through.
Well, would the towns have to put money into it?
I don't know.
Okay idea.
He was saying windfall came out of nowhere. So I'm just saying, I don't think I had any authority to even,
I think even if
Bring that up.
that did happen, I think there would have to be some sort of town meeting or
I'm
something.
sure it
to-
would. I'm sure
It
it
would have
would,
to
but
be-
I just don't, if we're
Prove
voting,
it,
I don't want to
yeah.
say yay and nay and have,
If this comes back
Mhm.
to being, it's still on the 10-year plan, which I was surprised.
I know.
They would have to do another whole environmental impact statement, which, that's lengthy.
I'll just bring it up that just
would
that
ask him.
group has the authority to say,
Yeah.
hey,
He's
go
our,
ahead, it's at the top. I doubt we do. I'm
he's our
sure it has to go to
transportation
300 more
manager,
meetings,
so
but
I would,
I want
I
to
would
bring
speak
that
with
up
them.
if
Yeah.
you're okay with that. And
yeah, definitely.
because Jay might have said, oh yeah, that, he might have diffused it, but I just want to make sure
Yeah, I double.
that does not
Yeah.
go to us. And the last one was the municipal law series. You already did that one. All right, so I am late on Kurt Schaefer with that chapter 8, the land use, but you know what's going.
Yep.
I wanted Stephen to have a heads up before. But, okay, so I will scan this in, tell them to look at the certain pages. If they want
That's
me there,
fine.
I'll be there for questions.
Okay.
I will just do this with Troy and just say, let's just
Yes,
make sure
yeah,
that's okay on that ordinance.
Absolutely.
Or do we have to reward our ordinance? And I will definitely check with Mr. Lantos tomorrow on the NRPC about a $70 million project coming, whatever, coming through Litchfield. All right.
All righty.
Can I have those back, please? May I have those
Oh,
back? Because
we
I'm going to
already
hand
have
those
them
out to the board. if
We
they-
gave you yours.
You already have them back.
Oh, you have mine? You got mine back?
Ours.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll-
This is just a regular.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
you did.
Okay, thanks. Because in case they wanted it, I had a hard copy, but I think it's better to scan it in at this point.
All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to add?
Just the minutes.
Yes, we have minutes. August 21st. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at them? Have any questions? Concerns? Changes?
I was in before I came in, and they all seemed, it seemed fine to me.
The only thing I asked that I didn't know, it was, I kind of asked, and it was to our discretion, whether the site plan in front of us was to, I'm making up a number, but remove 2 existing activities and put in 4 for the kiddie ride, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, we're analyzing Spooky World. And I didn't know if those were supposed to be 2 separate things or not. But it seemed to be at the discretion of the board, right? And we
Well, it was about
Yeah,
the
technically,
total thing, the whole enchilada.
they did not present, they
didn't
didn't
even
have a
present
site, for the subdivision piece. They didn't have a plan before us. We were only focused on the original site plan. So they would have to come in and present that other piece to us. I think we kind of got in a tangent. I think Attorney Hall has tried to bring in some of that stuff to try to, explain away things. But from my understanding is that that piece was not before us.
Yeah, so the lot line application
Right.
was not before you, but
Wait,
Kim's asking, were we really discussing Spooky World and the site plan? How does, are you saying, asking how?
I just don't know. The site plan before us is about taking out a couple of activities and putting 4 in.
Right,
Right.
But all of a sudden, it is on the lot that is Spooky World, and we're doing calculations of parking lots versus all the buildings versus how many people actually visit
I think
the
it was
place.
because of
So I'm
the-
thinking,
they
are
were
those 2
removing parking
separate,
spaces.
we're really fixing, well, and they said it wasn't a fix. And we didn't know about that lot, whatever's happening next week when the plan shows up next time, if that's gonna solve some of this issue. But I wasn't sure if we really should be putting them both together or not, and it seemed to be it was our discretion.
well, Jay's saying
But it's
here,
the same lot.
understanding the number of patrons and how that is determined is crucial. So I think he's talking about
Doing
the
both.
original one,
You do? You
but
think it is?
then, yeah, they threw in,
Then they threw it in, so.
Yeah.
I think, I don't, when I read it, I don't know if we were clarifying, we were trying to
right, it isn't
kick it down the
clear
road until we figure out
how
what they're
Spooky
presenting
World
as
got
well.
in here.
Hmm?
It isn't clear how Spooky World.
Yeah.
I think the parking situation did, when he did
Well-
all the calculations on per building, how many you should have minus workforce. and-
We did talk about, I put in that they weren't going to discuss the whole letter, right?
So that, where are you on this
Yeah,
one?
in the
Page
first
1?
page, yeah.
Right.
Where are you on page 1?
So his whole letter,
Oh, he's gonna digest that letter, yeah.
right, was what really brought the whole thing up.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
So when I read this, it just seems like we didn't really answer the question, but that's okay, because we don't know what's coming on the plan, right?
Right.
Because he's kind of holding that until.
You really can't answer it, so.
All right, so I just didn't know if we wanted to put that there, that we were asking, is this 2 different things that you have to come back about that?
Well, now it seems like it's all.
Now it seems
big
like it's
thing,
lumped
doesn't-
together, and I don't know if we should. So that was really my question.
We can specify that before the next meeting we have with them.
We'll save it.
Just say, hey, these are 2 separate things.
And I understand both sides of it. I'm
Well,
not saying I
from
don't,
one
I
attorney,
understand.
it will be one thing, and from the other attorney, it will be the whole picture.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Keep in mind that really, we don't really have that before us right now,
Right.
so we really can't.
I
really
know,
comment on
but I
it.
just want to
That's
know if we, I just didn't know if we wanted to see we were asking about
Well,
it.
we'll be re-noticing it, so when they come in with a new plan, it's gonna
Right,
be in the
and-
paper
and
again. And
Everyone will get notice and it'll be, the
So-
whole process will be,
Yes.
as it usually is.
But as far as the minutes actually go, I'm fine with the minutes as they are.
Well, I'm just saying, we brought that up. I didn't see it here. That's
Okay.
all. And I think that's a big one, if they ever look back legally. I don't know, can these hold up in court? That we were questioning it. These are a legal document, I would think, right?
Yeah, they're legal document.
All right, so we're gonna say at this point, we'll bring it up next time.
Yes.
And I understand all sides of it. I do. Okay. All right, but I didn't see anything else wrong with it.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st.
Make a motion to approve.
2018.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st, 2018.
Okay, I have a
Second.
Motion, I have a second. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstained, motion passes 4-0-0. Okay. Any other business this evening, Joan? Anything? Cassie, anything? NPC? Okay. Does the board have anything?
Nope.
Then I would at this time entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, abstained, motion passes 4-0-0. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a nice evening.